Welcome to my channel. This is Ryan Lang, MVP, and in today's video we're going to talk about complicated relationships. Why are relationships so complicated? One of the things I've learned over the years with different types of relationship, and we're not just talking relationship between man and woman, it could be relationship in church, relationship with work, relationship with acquaintances. It doesn't matter. There's so many different relationships, but I find relationship between man and woman is very difficult at times because people are on different page. A lot of it is communication and a lot of it is patience. People lose patience for themselves, much less other people. There are people in this world that cannot stand themselves. They don't know how to conduct themselves. They go from 0 to 100 before they actually think what comes out of their mouth. They just feel. Everyone is so touchy-feely. Like, don't complicate things. Starts with patience and communication. Sometimes people get so angry and so worked up that they don't even know what they're arguing about. Why give energy to things that don't pay you back? Misery loves company, and sorrow causes pain. Now, in this video about complicated relationship, I've seen so much relationship through acquaintances, through friends, through people I don't even know. And I'm noticing more and more how people fall in love for the wrong reason. The month of May 25th, 2020. Relationships nowadays are so complicated. There's nowhere to go. The whole world's at a stop. And people have to live together. Think about all the quality time you get to spend with your loved ones. Whether it be an annoying wife or a husband that just makes a mess, leaves the toilet seat up, leave his boxers all about the place. I mean, what else? Does not put his socks in the hamper. All sorts of stuff. There's stuff that husbands do to piss off their wife all day, all night. And there's stuff wives do to nag their husband. You have to deal with it. Now you're spending more quality time together. If your relationship survives a crazy time like this, it only gets better. Man, the summer is hot. We got summer earlier in Canada and things are still closed down. Now, back to the topic at hand, complicated relationship. I'm learning as I go because I'm married and I chose to do that. I've seen so much complication in relationships. Starting, for example, a man and a woman. People meet, and sometimes how they meet and how they treat each other after that determines how long the relationship's gonna last. Like, if people have kids together, they're not growing as a couple, then they're actually taken away from the whole relationship, because then there's no foundation or respect within that relationship, because it's gonna seem like it's just a joke. Not to say that people can't be responsible and take care of their kids or, do what they have to do as a man or a woman. At the end of the day, it comes down to just treating people how you want to be treated. The world's not a fair place, and relationships are never fair. I cannot tell you how much time everyone has gotten their heart broken. That's what happens to you when you fall in love. You get seriously hurt sometimes. But is that going to stop you from trying? Or are you going to remain single? Think about if you're a single person now and you're going through this and you're to yourself and anything happens to you, nobody knows. What, social media friends are your friends? You do have friends that will reach out to you. When you're going through these hard times, anybody that's never talking to you before or reach out to you, or you haven't reached out to anybody to find out how him and her, or he or she is doing, they're not your friends. harsh lesson, but that's relationship for you. Don't fall in love too fast because you're gonna definitely get hurt. Think about it. If you have kids with a person, let's say a male has kids with a woman, and then he goes and cheat and have kids with somebody else, then he does not hide it. That's no respect for that woman. Or if a woman looks you in the face and tells you if you don't want to give her any more kids, she's gonna go have kids with somebody else. That's just totally disrespectful. See how opinion can hurt a relationship? So sometimes even the things you're saying in your relationship can definitely hurt you. You don't murmur, you don't argue, despite the challenges. You have to make a decision on how you're gonna survive. And as long as you're taking care of all of this, you'll always have more. Fellas, you gotta be the man in your house, the king of the kingdom. That doesn't mean you domineer or you're alpha male, but you have to put your foot down. And you don't have to yell and you don't have to argue. Sometimes you just have to stop caring for even an hour. Just put a pause on life. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get exactly what you want if you're the king of your kingdom. Nobody can come in your house and tell you how to run your house. And if you have friends and people in your life that discredit your relationship, do not talk to them. I cannot tell you how much time people are opinionated to a next person's relationship. To each your own. Nobody has the right to say, oh, don't talk to this person and don't talk to that person. There's a reason why certain people are married and others aren't. Because they're not ready and they're not willing to put in the extra work to protect their relationship. They take things as a joke. So when somebody dies, everybody's waiting to get a handout, right? Or the insurance money. You got to make sure you know who you're dealing with and make sure that you set proper foundation for your relationship to work. And you have to hold people accountable in how they talk to you, in how you carry yourself, and how you talk to them. You don't have to swear. You don't have to yell. Sometimes you just got to stop caring. See, people who care a lot and murmur a lot always gets hurt and always says the wrong things. So don't murmur. Don't care. Sometimes care just enough to get things done. Care just enough to make sure your kingdom is running the way you want. Also, put God in a relationship, because I've said this time and time again. Without God, there is no peace. We know who else has a whole bunch of tricks up their sleeve, and they will play on your emotion. Do not let the devil have a landslide in your life. Do not let your emotions affect how you're making decisions. When you're in the devil's playground, they don't bother you. And fellas, the devil will take a ride with your wife. Your friend will take a ride with your wife. Their ex-boyfriends, their ex-girlfriends will take a ride with them too. So be careful who you have in your circle, who you tell your business, how you're doing your stuff. Because most people generally don't care. When you have problems in your house, do not take it out of your house and go and tell somebody else that's not married. Those things break down your relationship. They're not a counselor. Don't tell them. Try and work it out. This is where communication and patience comes into play. Do you have patience in your relationship? Do you have communication? Everybody wants to be touchy-feely, listen, but nobody actually has communication. There comes a time when you have to say enough is enough. And you have to have strict demands, and you got to make sure that you nip things in the bud. If something gets out of hand, you put your foot down, you say what you have to say, and you don't murmur about it. Fellas, you got to be the man of your house, the man of God, and the man of the castle. Ladies, you're supposed to be a helpmate for your husband. And ladies, if you make more money than your husband, don't belittle them. And fellas, make sure you hold your wife accountable, because anything she does wrong, you're responsible for it. Don't give her anything to argue about, because she will multiply it. Yep. Now you grow and you learn. Certain things used to bother me when I first got married. But through experience, through patience, through communication, I get exactly what I want all the time. The Lord never forsakes me. I'm blessed. My wife is actually a gift to me. So whether it didn't work out the first couple of months, which most marriages go through a rocky thing, you know, eventually it'll smoothen out. You have to decide you're going to survive. Just like how we right here, we beating what's going on in the world. It doesn't matter. You keep yourself safe. You protect yourself. You protect your relationship. Be careful who you bring into your relationship and who you talk to. People are not your friends. You can't trust no man. They're all sin and they all fall short of the glory. Even your own family member will try to stab you in the back. Everybody has an opinion. You gotta know how to pick sense out of nonsense, and to make sure that that opinion doesn't affect who you are. You have to protect your relationship at all costs. You gotta make sure you're communicating and you're speaking the right language. Because if your husband is with the devil and you're a Christian, you're gonna have to bring him over to the godly side. If your wife is hanging out, the devil is having a playground with her, you're gonna have to bring her back over, and that takes patience. The Lord changes hearts, and you have to put your work in. I cannot tell you how much times I've fallen short of the glory. Too many. At this point in my life, certain things that used to bother me don't bother me anymore, because I'm truly favored and highly blessed and spicy. The Lord spices up my life 24/7. There's never a dull moment. Nobody ain't gonna have a landfill in my life more than me. So it starts with you. Protect your relationship. Make sure you're working at it, and make sure you hold your spouse, your loved one, accountable without being demanding. Say what you want and make sure you don't stop until you get it. That's the difference between alpha male and beta male. You gotta be an alpha male. You gotta be the man of your house. Okay, fellas and ladies, you gotta treat your husband and talk to your husband how you want them to talk to you. No yelling, no swearing, no telling people your business. Whatever happens in your house, keep it in your house. This is Ryan Lang, the most valuable person. If you like my videos, remember to share, press the bell, so you can get notified for my future video. This video was on complicated relationship.